All right, all right. Glad to be here. We are going to get started in just a couple of minutes, waiting for some folks to come on in. If everything works right, then we will have a communion, as it were, a communion about business, about where we are, where we need to go, how we need to fix things so that we can get better traction in 2026. I am really excited to join. So awesome, awesome. If you are here, just type in the chat. If the chat's working for you, welcome. Just type in the chat where you're coming in from. This is a live discussion. This is a workshop that I host every once in a while. Haven't hosted it in a few months, actually. So here we are. This is right before the holidays. Hello, Irina. Hello, Doug. Type in the chat if you can hear me okay, if you can see me okay. This is a workshop I do, hello, Dale, about once every month or so. And I'm really, really glad that you guys are here, that you're here to take some time for your business. And I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to um, work with you, and we'll talk in the chat. I mean, that's the best way to do this so that we can work together. Um, since you don't have to have cameras on, you can just listen and relax and you can participate. So, yeah, we're going to talk about these 5 shifts today, and I'm really glad that you're here. And a lot of the businesses that have not made the shifts are, their website looks awesome to them, or maybe it doesn't, but how your ideal customers see your website and how they understand your value, your true value, isn't really the way that you perceive what your true value is. Hello, Aaliyah, welcome. So as we're getting started, just type in the chat so I can see if you're here. Let me just say hello, 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 hello. This is a live conversation. This is not a recording. I do these workshops once in a blue moon, and I'm doing this now for you so that you can have really some a breakthrough for 2026, really to start off the year on great footing from a positioning, from a um, marketing perspective. Hello, Frank. So type in the chat. Can you hear me okay? Merry Christmas. Absolutely. So, again, I do this for fun and also to help founders like yourself that are really bringing to the market a really great product or service. So, let me just say who this is for. If this is not for you, just bow out. This doesn't need to be something you need to be in. But if it is you, you should definitely take advantage of this time that we have together. This is not a presentation. This is not I'm not going to give you information. It's going to be a conversation. So I would also say that this is likely going to be one of the most powerful webinars you've been in all year if you participate. So I would say this 5 shifts discussion is for CEOs and founders and leaders who have customers who love what you sell once they get it. It is for founders and leaders whose prospects are sometimes confused about the complexity of what you're selling. It is for leaders who are ready to take a leadership position in their space, in the little niche or in the niche that you're in. If that's you, you're in the right place. I would also say that this is not for a CEO or founder or someone who is creating a business that has no customers and no traction. So if you've got no customers, no traction, this is not for you. I wouldn't waste your time. This is not for you if you think all you need is just a fantastic a fantastic product to win. If that's what you think, this is not for you. And I would say this is not for you if you don't want to take the lead in your space. So welcome, welcome. Just type in the chat, where are you coming in from? Let me see. Type in the chat, where are you coming in from so we can get started. Dr. K is here. All right. We've got David, Frank, Ila, Dale, Irina, Doug. Again, this is a live discussion. Winter Park, Florida. Fantastic. And this is a workshop that I host once in every blue moon. I don't know if that's like a month or so, because I really want to help founders that have great products really get to the next level. And the world has changed, and AI is here to really help amplify your business. And we're going to be talking today about exactly how to do that. and I'm going to give you some great ideas. So get out a pen and a pad and just relax. Get out a coffee, and type in the chat where you coming in from. So Doug from Colorado, that's fantastic. All right. So let me ask you a question. Do you believe that truth is more effective than spin? What do you believe? Type in the chat. And this is something core to me. So I've seen now that AI is here and making things more available and transparent. I believe that the truth and the clarity of what you're selling is the most powerful thing that you can have, you can be selling with. And we're going to be talking about that today. Ethical spin to true outcome. I don't even know what that means. But I would say these are the signposts that you're struggling to differentiate. So, type in a one in the chat if you have any of these words that are on the screen showing up in your marketing, on your homepage or in your marketing. End-to-end solutions, all in one, integrated. Give me a one in the chat. And these are signposts. They should be very clear to me. And I would hope that at this point, we're going to be talking about clarity and truth, that these are signposts that says you're struggling to differentiate and make it clear what the value is. So here's an example of a website. This was their website before they made the change. But this is so typical, isn't it? Creating innovative workflow technologies that drive high reliability. Like, what kind of bullshit is this? Like, what does even this mean? Does this mean anything to anybody? It doesn't mean anything to ChatGPT. I can tell you that. I've asked ChatGPT, what does this mean? It has no idea. So this is the point. If your LLMs searching for your business right now, do they understand your true value, or will they confuse it with solutions that are nothing like yours? Give me I don't know, just say something in the chat. This is the discussion. Do you think they might confuse your solution with anything like yours? And here's a scarier question. If you go to ChatGPT now and prompt, who should I trust to help solve this problem? And that's the problem that your company solves. Would your business come up? And this is what we're talking about. And this is the 5 shifts that we're going to be making today to help fix your marketing, help you attract your ideal customers. And I'm going to be giving away some great things that you can act on today. But most importantly, I'm going to work with you to make the 5 shifts, the 5 fundamental shifts that you need to make in order to grow your business and lead your market. All right, so who am I? If you don't know who I am, I'm the author of this book, Storycraft for Disruptors. You can pick it up on Amazon, which is the playbook for you to make these shifts and grow your business. I've worked with, I don't know, about 3,000 or almost 3,500 founders now, helping them fix their marketing, their messaging, their positioning. I work with publicly traded companies and privately held companies, VC-backed companies. And I've helped them really get clear about what their value is, have it show up in all of their marketing, and also build AIs, basically train ChatGPT so that ChatGPT is an AI brand twin for their business. So everybody in the business is working with a brand twin. And we're going to be talking about that later. I also consider myself an AI educator because a lot of what I see today in 2026, if you're not really using AI, if you're not using AI to scale, then you're going to lose to companies that sell similar solutions as yours who are using AI to scale. And we'll be talking more about that today. So if you want to snap this QR code now or later, and I'll put it in the chat, this link. If you want to book time with us, if you can't stay till the end, I can help you think through your business and diagnose really where things are falling down and give you a prescription, whether it's a 90-day or 30-day or just buy my book prescription of what you need to do to make things, to grow your sales and grow your business. Let me just find the link here to book your session webinar. There it is. Copy link. I'm going to put this in the chat. So if you're here, it's in the chat. We're going to make this available to you if you wanted to meet later with me and my team. All right. We'll also have other giveaways today. I'm going to give away the magnetic messaging framework. which is a 16-part guide for how you could fix your website in terms of the story. I'm probably going to give away a GPT, a free GPT, which will allow you to, it'll diagnose what's really going wrong with your website and where you need to focus your attention. So I would say this is a conversation today. I do this for fun and to help you. When I say fun, this is kind of like my mission is to help founders like you that have brought great solutions to the market actually see that manifest, see your customers living better lives and doing things better, faster, and cheaper. This conversation we're having right now, it's not a video. It is not for spectators. You will have an experience in this conversation of making these 5 shifts, but it's only if you participate. So if you're down to do that, just give me a yes or a heck yes in the chat, and we will jump in. I want to see a yes or a heck yes in the chat from Doug, Arena, Dale, Ela, Frank, David, Dr. K, and Edward. All right, giddy up. Awesome. All right, so Arena, yes. So type in the chat. So, and I believe you guys are here because your business is important. The holidays are around the corner, and you want some really good ideas to think through during the holidays so you can really make 2026 the best year ever for your business. So, what would you say is more important? Having a great product or having a clear message? Type in the chat and don't say they're both important because, of course, they're both important. But what is more important? That's what I'm asking you. Your slides need to be enlarged. They're only partially showing. I'm sorry. Message. Doug says message. Frank needs clear message. I agree. Because, I mean, could you think of some companies that have had great products but somehow didn't make it? I think there's a lot of examples. And also, what's more powerful, do you think, in business? Do you think it's the stories that you're telling, the stories that you're involving your customers with, or the facts that you are publishing? Type in the chat, what's more powerful? The stories that you're enrolling people in, or the facts that you're publishing? Absolutely, stories. But if we look at really what our marketing is doing now, you guys have probably been let down by marketers. And I hate marketing. I've always hated marketing because marketing for me meant bullshit. It meant uh, piles of odorous excrement that is full of spin. And especially when salespeople are given, decks and presentations that marketers build, they don't help salespeople have breakthrough, honest conversations with their customers. Have you found that to be true? Have you ever worked for a big company and seen the shitty decks that you get from marketing? Give me a yes or no in the chat. And that's what I'm against. I'm like leading a rebellion, and it's worked. I've helped companies earn hundreds of millions of dollars through this approach that in the 5 shifts that we're going to be talking today. And I've had the privilege of working with some of the most amazing founders like yourselves, I imagine that you are, that are bringing amazing products to the market. So it actually may be that you don't have a sales or marketing problem, that you're doing good marketing activities, but the problem is that the position that you're taking is completely wrong, and it's not resonating. It's not even coherent to your ideal customers. So here's my promise to you in the next 45 minutes. We're going to talk about how to nail your sales message, even if your solution is sophisticated, complicated, and needs to be demoed. And I can tell you, I'm right now working with 2 companies and their products. One of them is an AI platform. It's a publicly traded company. I'm not going to mention the name. And one of them is a health technology company. We work with about 3 to 5 companies per month. And I can tell you, these are probably the most complicated and sophisticated solutions out there. But the thing is, that doesn't win hearts and minds. It's simplicity and it's clarity that does win hearts and minds. And that's what you guys need to do as well. We're going to be talking about how to turn your homepage into a home run for your perfect buyers. Your homepage is not for you. It's really for your customers to find a way forward. If this is resonating with you, like this is like what you want to get out of this, and just give me a 1 in the chat. We're going to be talking about why it's game over for most marketing playbooks and what you got to do instead. We're going to talk about how to attract ideal customers into buying conversations with you and your team and lead your category as like the category in a category of one, even if they've never heard of your solution. We're going to be talking about how to train AI to create a 100% on brand content machine. I would say not a content machine, I would say a collaboration partner that looks through the lens of your brand. This is how my evolution of working with AI has changed. AI is no longer a content machine. AI is a lens that you can create with. And we're going to be talking about how you can do that in this session. We're going to cover so much ground, and I really hope that you'll work with me in making these 5 shifts today. So we'll be giving out lots of stuff, the magnetic messaging framework, the 12 sales conversations, that free GPT I mentioned. And if you snap this QR code with your phone, you can book some time with me and my team before the holidays. I've opened up a few slots before the holidays, and then we're closed from Christmas Eve till January 2nd. So if you wanted to book some time, you can do it. Else, you can maybe make some time in the new year. Anyway, does that sound fair? That's what I'm going to do. Give me a yes or a heck yes or absolutely or okay in the chat if you are down to do this right now with me. We got Edward, absolutely. Doug, and feel free in the chat to put in a link to your business, a URL to your website so that we can get acquainted. And type in the chat. We've got Edward, Dr. K, David, Frank, Ilya, Dale, Arena, Doug. Please type in the chat. Does this sound fair to you? Yes or no? If it doesn't sound fair, then you can bow out. Okay, cool. Yes, from Frank. Yes. Okay, cool. So, but first, is this you? Let's just check in with who you are. Your solution is amazing. Your customers absolutely love what you're selling, what you're offering. But your prospects, not so much. They don't really get it. They just don't get it. They may say things like, we already have something like that. Or you may have slides that are like a Franken deck, and I hope you don't. But you know what a Franken deck looks like? Do you know? Give me a 1 in the chat if you've ever seen a Franken deck, like built over time with 101 pieces. Yes. And I've been killed by PowerPoints that look like this, and this doesn't help sales. And so if this is you, you're in the right place because it's likely you haven't made these shifts. Do buyers ghost your team after saying, this is really cool, this is really smart, this is really interesting, but then they ghost you? If that's the case, you haven't made these shifts. You have a CMO, a chief marketing officer, or a marketer that's marketing all day long, market, but it's not turning into sales, like dashboards, and they're creating a lot of content, but it's not resonating. It's not coherent enough to get buyers to buy. Your sales reps, maybe they're busy. Maybe they're busy explaining, but they're not empathizing and they're not asking the right questions. If that's you, we're going to fix that in the next 45 minutes. Is this you? Competitors aren't really your competitors. And that's probably the case, even though buyers think that they are. Like, they're not really a competitor of ours, but they think that they are. Or maybe have you found yourself competing against solutions that are like nothing like yours? Has that ever happened to you? Give me a 1 in the chat if any of these are happening to you. Give me a 1 in the chat. Your team is demoing things before your buyers have even talked about what problem they are trying to solve and why they are trying to solve it. Give me a 1 in the chat if that's ever happened. Or your CMO or your marketer is marketing, but nothing meaningful is happening. Are you producing a lot of case studies and ROI calculators? And ChatGPT will be happy to create you a lot of this BS that actually doesn't help convert. But if you're doing that, you also haven't made the shifts. If your team has prompted ChatGPT and gave you content, but not in your voice, not turning into sales, those are what we're talking about. So I saw a few of you gave me a 1 in the chat. The good news is, and the great news is, that is not the real problem. The real problem is that you have not made these 5 shifts. But once you do, buyers are going to finally get it. Your homepage becomes a lead magnet, not a brochure. Sales and leadership are telling the same winning story, not five different stories. Working with one company now, they have 11 salespeople, and every one of those salespeople are telling a completely different story, and it's a mess. Win rates are going to double without more marketing, and that's because people are showing up predisposed to buy. And your AI will write and create content better than your best rep. And we call that an AI brand twin. Anyway, that's what happens when you make these five shifts. And let's get into it. So, jumping into the first shift, if you're ready for the first shift, you're here before the holidays, you're here and you're feeling it, give me a yes or a hell yes in the chat. Are you ready for the first shift? All right, we got a hell yes from Doug. All right, that's awesome. We got a yes from Frank. You got any more yeses? Come on, work with me here. I do this for fun, and I hope you're having fun too, because business should be fun. And getting clarity about your business should be fun as well. It could be painful, to be honest. And I should warn you, there's going to be a couple painful moments in this because we're going to illuminate some blind spots for you. All right. So, shift number one, lead a movement. So, this is the first shift you need to make. So, if you are selling solutions, type in the chat. Give me a one in the chat. Are you selling what you'd call solutions? You probably are. And if you are selling solutions, and I do see, let me see a one in the chat, then you are likely the enemy of the status quo, absolute enemy. And there's a picture of Conan the Barbarian, whatever. You're the enemy. You're not the hero of the story. And the story, you're selling it. If you're selling an innovation of some kind, you are absolutely the enemy of people in an organization that are fighting desperately to keep things the way they are. And that actually helps. I mean, it prevents you from selling. So, what does your innovation challenge? Type in the chat. What are you fighting against? What does your innovation challenge and what are you fighting against? Type in the chat. Be specific with respect to your what you're selling, and feel free to put the URL of your business. I'm happy to look at your URL if we have time at the end, your website, and go through what I see there, sort of my first take on what the story is, what your belief is. But type in the chat, what does your innovation challenge? What's the enemy that you and your customer both have in common? And it should be the same, this enemy, this common enemy. And this is the first shift you need to make. You need to move away from selling your solution and move towards leading a movement towards a place or a world where your customers want to go with an approach which is the approach that your solution takes. So it's a little bit positioning yourself, your business, not as the solution, but as the means to the end, or as the guide that helps you along the journey to be successful. So, Doug, perception, false belief. If you can be more specific, that would be great because I don't understand. I'm selling executive leadership coaching. Okay, I see that that's what you're selling. But what is the enemy, Frank? What is the enemy that your customer and you both have in common? If that's what you're selling, why would they buy it? And what are they dealing with right now that is in their way of you helping them get what they want? So, great businesses like Salesforce.com, when I say great, I don't even think Salesforce.com's software is all very good. But back when they were not a billion-dollar company, they led a movement against software. That was their movement, and it worked. So Chris Orleb talks about this, and this is a really great way to talk about the movement, which is you're basically putting a flag in the ground, and he calls it an effective nexus. It's a way to talk about things that changes the way your buyer thinks about the problem, and it shakes their confidence, but in a good way, about how they may be dealing with that. And it's typically polarizing. So, what are you rebelling against? Are you rebelling against anything? Are you leading a movement anywhere in your industry, or you're just selling? Oh, we're just selling. You want executive leadership coaching? I got executive leadership coaching. I can sell that to you. Is that what you're doing? Gosh, I hope not. So there must be a way, like the shitty executive leadership coaching out there versus the amazing executive leadership coaching out there probably does it in two very different ways. So the ones that are doing it in an amazing way are probably interested in helping their customers rebel against a way that doesn't work anymore. Is this beginning to make sense to you, Frank? Hope it is. So Edward, enemy is change. So yes, enemy is always change, but for Edward, be more specific in your business because otherwise it's just theory. If you want to make the shift here with me, you have to be very specific and be willing to put yourself out there. I am. I'm putting myself out there. I'm spending my time with you right now. So let's make this a workshop and type in the chat, Edward. What are you really rebelling against? And who is the enemy here of the story that's preventing your customers from being successful that you're trying to help them overcome? So let's see what you got. This is a workshop, and we're not going to go anywhere unless you participate and you dig in here. I'm not ChatGPT, although maybe I want to be ChatGPT when I grow up for a number of reasons. I'm here to help you explore this first movement, which is to lead a movement, lead a rebellion. I sell AI to car dealerships. AI answers 100% of every call. 20. Okay, that's nice, Edward. I get that what you're selling, but who cares? And why would someone want to change what they're doing? And what are you helping? How are you helping them change from the old way to the new way? And what happens if they don't change? What if they say, who cares? I'm not changing nothing. I'm good. I'm fine. Like, if you're selling that, you got to basically be leading a movement of some kind. No, or no. You just say, you want it? Here it is. Is that your approach to selling? Well, good luck with that. All right. So you got to have a polarizing statement. And every business that is selling an innovation has a polarizing statement. Even Apple did when they first launched. Every business does this. So an example, aware.com. So before they made these shifts, they were talking about like making themselves awesome. Like, oh, we're just simplifying biometrics. And of course, that didn't work because nobody believes this BS. Afterwards, they got on board to fight the villain, which is, in their case, it's AI that is infiltrating access, secure access. And they're using AI to fight against that. And that's calling out very clearly how they're fighting against the enemy that their customers are also fighting against. And they're aligning their solution with a solution their customers need. They're in the identity verification and fraud prevention business. Anyway, this is a good example. Airbnb, like they're not really leading a rebellion so much as leading an aspirational movement towards a place where you can just live anywhere. You can go anywhere and live in anyone's house, anywhere around the earth. It's aspirational. Of course, nobody actually is living in Airbnbs 365 days a year, but they could be. And like this is a good movement. So this is really powerful stuff. This comes down to what it is that you believe. What do you believe? And what world are you trying to create for your customers that I would say it has nothing to do with your product. It may have something to do with your product, but your product is a means to the end. And by leading a movement or leading a rebellion, you are leading your customers, your prospects to that outcome, which is what your customers want, don't they? Type in the chat. Do your customers want outcomes or do they want to buy your product? 1 for outcomes, 2 for your product or service. Yeah. So look at this chat here. Look at these hashtags here. These hashtags, one of them got a man elected president to the United States. One of them is Wall Street Journal's call to the promised land. One of them is Charles Schwab's mission statement. So these are powerful spells. They are spells in the way they call ideal customers to the place that they want to get to. So, by the way, do you have a powerful spell or buyer's mission statement or hashtag? Type it in the chat here so I can get my eyes on it and I can coach you through to see if it passes the test of does it really speak to where your buyers want to go, or is it all about your product? All right, so type in the chat your hashtag. But what do all of these hashtags have in common? Could you detect by looking at the screen the pattern that all of these have in common? I suppose if you take a screenshot and throw this in ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, what's the structural pattern here behind these hashtags? It will tell you the answer. But if you can look at it, you'll see that all of these are positive aspirations for their tribal futures. And they are also starting with a verb calling people to rally to a place. And this is powerful stuff, by the way. So I don't know if you buy Zoom Info stuff, but their hashtag is not buy better data or buy our data, because that's the most boring stuff you can be selling in the market, today's data. But they're doing pretty well because their narrative is about helping organizations get the outcomes they want, which is hitting their sales number. So that's why this works. So if this is beginning to make sense, type in the chat "makes sense" or type in the chat what your hashtag is, and we're happy to critique it for you. I want this to be valuable for you. This is your time. This is my time, and it's no use wasting this time if we're not going to work on this stuff together. I take your business really seriously. I take my business really seriously, and let's make the best time of this here together. So if you're here, type in the chat. Dr. K, Edward, David, Frank, Ela, Dale, Irina, Doug, answers to these questions as I'm bringing them up. Nature matters. So Irina, thank you for putting that out there. So nature does matter. So let me draw a distinction between the leading a movement and naming a promised land. Nature matters is not even naming a promised land. It's almost like making a statement like, yeah, nature does matter. It's a statement of empathy, but it's not a statement of leading people to a movement, to a place. So it's neither leading people to a better world. It's not even um, naming what that better world looks like. It's just making a statement of trying to get people to empathize with a truth. And that doesn't move markets. That does not get people to buy, does not get people to change. So, Irina, I don't mean to be harsh, but I'm trying to help you. And I hope that this critique was helpful. Bring nature in and your space to life. I like the whole tagline. So, Irina, I hope that was helpful. Great. So, by the way, Jeff Aronson, brilliant CEO of EquipX, before he made these shifts, confusing marketing content, pipeline was thin, letting key partners down, and losing deals to no decision. This was his shitty website, as he would say, before the change. And there's nothing wrong with it design wise, but it's everything wrong with it from in terms of the story and the message. After he made these shifts, he tripled revenue in 6x pipeline in 4 months and is so grateful that the business vision is materializing. And I want this for you as well. This is the after website, by the way, and it's much clearer about what the transformation is and how they're helping their customers. All right, so if you don't have time to stay to the end, snap this QR code and book a session with me and my team before Christmas. And we can definitely talk about how we could help you and just really get a bead on the gap between where you are now, where you want to go. And I can give you a prescription of exactly what you need to do to get there. All right, so ready for shift number 2. Give me a 1 in the chat, or give me a 2 in the chat if you're ready for shift number 2. And I want to see 2s in the chat from as many people as possible. Dr. K, Edward, David, Frank, Dale, Irina, and Doug. Give me a 2 in the chat. Okay, handling it. Maybe you're driving. All right, shift number 2. All right, fall in love with the problem. Now, founders like you, Irina, Dale, Edward, Frank, you probably spend every moment of your working day focused on building your business, and it's no shame to gravitate to being in love with your solution. I get it. But the reality is that is not what helps your customers buy. It's not what helps them um, change. So why not start with your solution? And it's you can't just change people's minds by telling them facts like, "Oh yeah, our solution's better," and giving them facts as to why it's better. By the way, type in the chat. Does that work? Yes or no? Giving people's facts about why your product or service is better? Does this work? Does giving people facts change people's minds? No, it doesn't. So solution marketing doesn't work anymore because it doesn't answer the questions why change? Why change right now? And why change with you? It really is about change. It's not so much about you, it's about change. And if your message is focused so much on the solution, it's not going to help them change. And by the way, the market is flooded with solutions that may be similar to yours. More likely they're not, but your customers can't tell them from Adam. They can't tell them apart from each other or from you. And it is essentially a big heaping pile of noise. This is actually a screenshot I took from a founder that came to one of my workshops. And when I saw this, I flipped out because I was like, really? Are you putting this on your homepage where you're trying to tell people that you're trustworthy and courageous and accountable? Like, nobody believes this shit. Like, come on. But this is what's going on. Like, oh, my marketer told me to do it. And frankly, I'm embarrassed by it. Like, great. Let's get over that and let's actually build a story that changes people's behavior. So the good news is the world needs your solution, though. We don't want to just say, talk about the problem. But the thing is, if your customer says, like, we have a problem, and you have a sales rep that says, great, here's our solution, there's a problem with that because that is typically not enough to make a sale. What is needed in making a sale and why good sales reps asks questions like, why do you need this fixed? What's going on in your business that if you don't fix this problem, there are going to be ripple effects? Like, why do you want this fixed in the first place? Why do you even think this is a problem? And getting deeper with not just being clear on what the problem is, but helping your customers understand the cost and the impact of not doing anything. And if you can do that, the money will follow. People will find budgets to pay for your expensive whatever, because it won't be expensive, it'll be cheap, because money follows pain. And I like to use the analogy of a vitamin versus a painkiller. People are twice more likely to buy painkillers than vitamins, and that's just a reality. So customers also will buy more if they're feeling understood than by them understanding you. So you can do a great job in publishing information and video content or whatever about your business. But is that enough to get customers to buy? Yes or no in the chat. Yes or no. Is publishing an enormous amount of content about what your solution is, how it works, why you think it's better, is that enough to get people to buy? No, it's not. But this is fundamentally misunderstood by most marketers out there. Most chief marketers officers don't know this stuff. And what this means is you need to fall in love with the problem instead. Absolutely. That means the problem as a founder is the reason why you created this business, the reason why you created this approach, the reason why you're helping your customers is to overcome this problem. And if you can describe that problem better than they can describe it themselves, they'll automatically believe that you have the best solution. And this is so profound, but this is how you can actually win much more than your competitors, because of the clarity that you have and your broadcasting. Because the problem is where your customers live. It's in the messy middle. It is where they're living. And the old way of pitching would be when you're starting with the solution and this is what we're selling and this is why it's so great. But the new way is you're starting with the problem and this is where your customers live. And you'll be saying things like, instead of we help companies achieve whatever, you're saying things like, well, we help companies who are struggling with whatever. Does this make sense? Type in the chat, makes sense, if this makes sense. And this is a fundamental shift that if you can do this in your business, I promise you, you will double your win rate, you will double your sales in 2026. So you can't convince people of things by telling them what they should think. You can only talk to people and get them to Believe in the things that they themselves will decide. And that means that you fundamentally have to have conversations about risk. And if you're selling some kind of solution that's helping them solve a problem, you should basically acknowledge that they're sitting on this basic choice of, on the one side, should they make a change or should they not do anything? And most deals actually go to die in like no decision. This status quo. So let's just call it what it is. If you can't describe what the risk of doing nothing is against in their world, then you're probably going to lose to no decision. This is an example of the after. You actually saw this website earlier from the founder of ReadyWorks. You probably don't even recognize it because this is so beautiful and so problem centric that it doesn't even look like the company before. But they made a massive shift after putting the problem front and center. Is this is why we exist. This is why we're helping our clients win. And taking this approach in your foundational story will absolutely help you fix all of your marketing, all of your proposals, all of your emails, all of your LinkedIn posts, all of your PR, everything. So that was just shift number 2. So pop quiz, type in the chat, what's the problem that you solve? What's the problem that you solve? Type that in the chat. And it'll give me a sense of, in this workshop we're in together, we're having this moment, it'll give me a sense of whether you've been able to make this shift or not. And I'm real with you, and I want you to be real with me. So type in the chat, what's the problem that you solve? And in the meantime, I'm going to make sure you have the link to book a meeting in case you don't have that. I think I'm going to put that here again. Yes, there it is. So type in the chat, what is the biggest problem that you solve? Let's see it in the chat. Revenue leaking from a dealership. Thank you. Revenue leakage, number one problem. Arena, a workplace employees don't want to come to. Wow. I love that. I'm talking about fall in love with the problem. Like, that is great. And you got to lean into that because that's the reason why your customers are going to buy. It's not going to be because of how awesome your solution is or even how much they want to get to the wonderful world that you're painting the picture of. Frank, leaders who are stuck. Yeah, stuck with what? Let's see if we can't pin that down a little sharper. But you guys did excellent on this pop quiz. Much better than other founders, by the way. Everyone got a B+ here so far. So magnetic messaging only works when the story matches reality. So your buyers are world-class bullshit detectors, and the only way through is truth. This is what I believe, and I also realize this now works. It works now better than ever because of AI. AI is a great bullshit detector, and we know that. All right. Warren Johnson, by the way, CEO of ScribeX, before he made these shifts, good salespeople were leaving because they were not being supported. The value of the innovation just wasn't getting across, missing forecasts. He went from like almost 200 customers to 3,000 in 12 months after making these shifts. So I'm really proud of him, and you guys can do this too. So fall in love with the problem. Does that make sense before we unlock number 3? Does this make sense to fall in love with the problem? Give me a 2 in the chat if this makes sense to you. Yeah, great. All right, so QR code. Ready for shift 3. Shift number 3 is make your customer the hero. Now, I know that you've heard this before, but most CEOs, even most marketers, have no freaking clue onto actually how to do this. They buy StoryBrand from Donald Miller, they read the book, and they still do not know how to make their customer the hero. But let me break it down for you and see if you can make this shift in the next 5 minutes. So you've got a hero of the story like the Lion King, and there's other characters. There's the villain of the story like Scar. There's the guide like Rafiki, and the adversaries that hung around the villain and just made the hero's life miserable. And then you've got the promised land, Pride Rock, and that's where the hero really needed to get to restore balance in the world. And there were victims there. There were the other animals that were, because the hero did not take his place, the animals lost and the environment suffered. So what we have here, and there were champions, there were people that actually helped the hero overcome this imbalance and restore the true um, the true world. So we all understand this story from the Lion King, but when we apply it to our business, it's the same thing. So let me just use Star Wars for example. But I'm going to just take Luke Skywalker is your customer. So here's your customer is trying to achieve something. They're trying to get to a world that's better, faster, cheaper, make more money, happier, more efficient. No, but there is forces at play that are keeping them down, keeping them stuck in the old way. There are adversaries that are the systems and the people and the processes that are just embedded in the old way that make their life even more miserable. And the guide of the story is you, is your business. And the guide is providing to the hero a thing, a solution, an approach, a mindset, or whatever, some kind of elixir, or to use story vernacular, that helps the hero um, fi- with the plan and a way so they can overcome the villain and get to the promised land. And the champions are the ones that are like the side characters that often help the hero get there, but aren't making the final decision and aren't really on the hook for failure. The victims of the story in your business, it likely would be your customer's customer or your customer's employees. Those are the victims. So, is this helpful to lay out here, like the characters of the story? In Because you need to get clear of these characters, and you need to train an AI on the characters of your story so that when it's writing content, when it's writing messaging, it's firmly positioning your company and your solution as the enabler, the capabilities that helps your customers win. Is this making sense? I mean, is this helpful to you about making it clear of exactly how you can make your customer the hero of the story? I'm maybe doing too much teaching here, but is this helpful? Yes or no? And one way to check level check this now is if you were to say right now, type in the chat, what is your marketing in love with right now? What is it in love with? Just type in the chat. If it is in love with your solution, then you have not made your customer the hero. Fact's a fact. And if you feel this in your gut right now, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not sorry. I want you to make the shift because this is the only way you are going to cut through the noise and achieve your goals in 2026. So, yeah, that's pretty much a meme that says it all. All right. So let's move on to the next shift. These are some details about calls to action and how this relates to making your customer the hero. This relates to giving your customer a plan, because if the way in which your customers use your product is too complicated, is too detailed, they're not going to make the shift. It's just going to be more comfortable and just safer for them to stick to the status quo. And you're going to see this, by the way. I'm going to give you the magnetic messaging framework. You can also get it in my book. How important mapping out a very simple plan is to get your customers to change. All right. So, by the way, there is the QR code. If you wanted to book some time and get yourself squared away for the new year, please do that or click the link in the chat. Manish, another great example. Before he made the shifts, could not invest in product without more customers, really stuck. He made the shifts and he invested in making these shifts, and they've grown exponentially. I want this for you guys too. All right. So we are into shift number 4 now. And I'm going to take off my shirt. It's getting kind of hot. I get kind of passionate about this stuff because that's what I do. All right. So, and I'm passionate about you being successful and you making these breakthroughs in this discussion. So, number 4, name your category. So, this is the shift that you need to make. By the way, type in the chat now. What is your category that you're selling in now? Can you do that for me? What is your category? I think executive leadership Coaching is Frank's category. Type in your categories, please. All right. So categories are, computing is a category, but NVIDIA is now all about accelerated computing. Ownership is, I guess, a category, but Comfort Connect has created a new category called comfort ownership, which is essentially like vacation ownership. You don't own the condo, you own time in the condo. That's a category. And, you can do this too. So I see arena interior design and medical components. So, what kind of interior design? What kind of medical components is your solution about? This is a pre word that you can think about, or a word after your category that distinguishes your solution in a way that nobody else has done. For example, maybe it's intelligent medical components, or um, intelligent interior design. Maybe you're using AI in a unique way. Just throwing. Smart used to be the word, like smartphones and smart homes, smart forms. Here, ReadyWorks added the word smart in front of the checklist category, smart checklists. But many, many winning companies have done this by positioning what they're selling as the new way, the way that winning organizations are playing the game and achieving great success, and attacking in the same breath the old way, the old traditional status quo approach to winning that no longer works because the world has changed. Things have changed, and that approach doesn't work anymore. So, give some thought to how you might describe your category as a unique category of one that gives it a little bit of a uh, clarity on how it's different. How is it unique? This is the truth. This is not spin. So, type in the chat, what is your category? If you give it a whirl. So, what kind of interior design? What kind of medical components? Like, what kind of way have you solved the problem that makes your product unique or different? And I'll wait because I'm hot and I want this to be a workshop. So, type in the chat. If you can, I want you to try to make this shift. What is your unique category, your category of one that maybe nobody has really labeled just yet? Anybody? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? You can do this. This is a big and important shift. And the winning organizations like Salesforce.com did this, and they got to a $3 billion company when they labeled the category enterprise intelligence. So they're not just selling a CRM, customer relationship management. They're selling enterprise intelligence. That's a bigger name. That's a bigger category. It's a bigger deal. So, super conscious power. Wow, that's interesting. So, power is weird. It's a weird word. Uh, Actually, it's less weird than super conscious is for me. Like you got to nail it. Got to bring it down to earth. Like super conscious computing, or like what are we talking here? So anyone else want to take a stab at naming your own category? We'll jump into shift 5 as you're thinking. So shift number 5 is use the secret weapon. And here's the secret weapon for you. Now, if you can do this, this brings together all the 4 shifts, and it is to get AI to become your trained marketing expert in your brand voice that will write and ideate better than you, me, or a $350,000 CMO. But how do you do that? And so it actually starts with a rather boring thing to do, but it's hard work, and it's essentially your manifesto. It is a document that answers all, say, the 20 to 50 questions of what it is that you're selling, who it is that you're selling to, who is the hero of the story, and why should they care, and what happens if they don't change, and what's their problem, and what is the way that organizations solve this problem in the past, and why does it no longer work? And if you could actually put this down in a document, This is what we call context engineering for a very powerful AI that would be an AI brand twin for your business, and it will sell better than you. So this may look like a boring document to you, but LLMs eat this kind of stuff for breakfast, and they see the patterns, they understand the rationale, and they write better than we do as humans, provided they know the tone, they know the structure, and they know the patterns. So we typically offer this 90-day rebellion sprint, and but we sometimes offer 1 month workshops or 1 month just get your story nailed. Um, but there's lots of things that you can do to get to a place where you've got your AI nailed, you're creating content, your website's fixed, your sales presentation is helping you have breakthrough conversations, you are advertising and you're making money on the advertising. You're not losing money because the ads lead people to a place that they understand what they're getting. In fact, most advertising fails. I mean, it doesn't, you don't get a return on that investment because the place that you're taking to people to after the ad just doesn't convert because it doesn't make sense. It's not coherent. So all that really needs to change, but you don't have to work with us on any of this. But I have to say that you have to do this work. If you don't do this work and get this done, then you're not going to be able to reach your 2026 goals. So most people are using ChatGPT at this base level. They log in and they type in some random stuff and they get out some output that is barely usable and definitely doesn't sound like them. What we're talking about is you creating a custom private GPT on OpenAI or Google Gemini or a Claude project or an artifact or a Copilot. I forget what that's called, but essentially it's the same thing. It is a private custom GPT that you own and that knows everything about your brand, your business, so it could write and sell better than you. And then you have chats with it at that third level, chats where you're chatting almost like a sparring partner, and you're building out whatever you need for your business. And you're actually having everybody in your team use and share that same private GPT. This is the secret weapon. It's likely that you're only using AI at that first ground level. You need to be using AI at that third level, certainly in the next 2 weeks by 2026. Because if you're not, most companies in 2026 will be doing this, and they're going to have an advantage over you. So this core messaging framework document, this North Star, this manifesto, this Bible that I'm talking about, most businesses don't even have that. So they can't even collaborate or train an AI with anything. It's kind of random acts of training, random acts of prompting. But just type in the chat, do you have a core messaging framework document? Yes or no? As I see Dale, precious metals devices. Ooh, I like that. Frank says yes, great. So Frank, I'm curious how many pages that is, and Dr. K, how many pages of that core messaging document is it? Because that will also help me understand, is it more of like a prompt or is it context engineering? So 3. So I would say it's too light. It's not enough context because the AI will basically be hallucinating and guessing at all the detailed context that it needs in order to be successful at that. So this is another diagram, not very pretty though, but it essentially shows you what needs to happen. In this first bubble over here, you need to um, get to the truth. And we get to the truth by having intakes with leadership. We're 2 projects working on now. There's like 14 people in one company, 19 in the other, where all the executives, and especially the CEO, the chief storyteller, gets to share their truth, their belief of what the world is, what needs to happen, and why customers would buy. And that's important to get to that belief because you're going to sell to customers who also believe the things that you believe. So it is very much about creating, I would say, a almost like a Bible for the business. That's what this first box is. And once you do that, then you can move to the second box where you're using AI to scale, where everything from emails to response to proposals and landing pages, all this stuff happens at 25x um, efficiency, almost zero cost. I say almost zero because it essentially, your team could use it and everything is going to be on brand. And this is really amazing what happens when you get there. My clients are just excited about the work they're doing because they're winning customers and they're 25x more efficient. So I promised you how to nail your sales message, how to turn your homepage into a home run for perfect buyers. And I'm going to share with you the magnetic messaging framework just after, so you can see exactly what that looks like, why it's game over for most marketing playbooks, how to attract ideal customers into buying conversations and lead your category through category creation, and how to train your AI to create a 100% on brand content machine. So that's what I promised. Just to recap, you have to lead a movement. You have to lead a rebellion against the old way. That's what helps you stand out. You need to stop being so enamored with your solution and fall in love with the problem that your customers are suffering with, because that's in the messy middle where you're going to help them like a good doctor. You're going to need to make your customer the hero of the story, not your product. You need to name your category to create a unique category of one, and you need to use the secret weapon. So I would say now you have a choice. You can do nothing, or you can go it alone, or you can get help. And I'm just putting in the chat here a link again to book some time with me. I encourage you to do that. Book some time with us so we can get a real clear bead on what is going on in your business right now. Where would you like to go? And what have you tried? What do you need to get done? And we'll put a plan in place so that it will be right sized for you so that you can get this done. And I say, don't book a meeting with me if you want free marketing, because if you want free marketing, here, please buy my book, Storycraft for Disruptors. You'll get everything and more from the book. This is only if you're serious about investing in making these changes. It's not free to do this. The things that I'm suggesting that you need to do is not free. It definitely takes investment. So if you want to book a call, snap the QR code. Let's have a business discussion. Let's get clear and let's get it done. So there's the QR code. Snap it and let's talk. It is free, the call, but I am a busy guy and I want to make sure this is valuable for your time and for my time. And I will only meet with CEOs that are committed to investing in their business as opposed to just getting free advice, because you can get that from my book. Wanted to make that clear. All right, so giveaway time. Let me give you some stuff. The magnetic messaging framework, I'm going to give you a link to it. I'm also going to give you here, you're welcome, Arena, the 12 sales conversations. That's a super helpful rubric. This is proprietary information. It's in the book. And it is the 12 conversations. If you're selling like a 50 or 100K solution set, if you miss one of these conversations, you will not make the sale, guaranteed. So it's important to look at the 12 conversations to make sure you're touching on that either in sales presentations or in your sales process. The next thing I want to give to you is it's a GPT homepage messaging evaluator. So it's an OpenAI free GPT homepage messaging evaluator, and you put your URL in there, and it will give you an assessment and a score of how well your website tells the story using this framework. The next thing is the magnetic messaging framework, and let's see if I can find that here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to log in and then sign in and dig around for assets. Where is it? Here, media, messaging framework, view. Here it is. I'm gonna put this in the chat. It's a PDF. And here, if you click on this, you will get a really simple to follow structure for your website. If you're thinking of redoing your website for 2026, this is a proven structure that has helped companies earn hundreds of millions of dollars because it creates in a single scroll, doesn't require anyone to click on anything or click here or go there. In a single 9-second scroll, it tells the whole story and it gets qualified people to book a meeting and to act. This is super powerful. And so I'm giving it to you for free right now. You could use this, act on it. And if you want to chat with the GPT I gave you, it is totally aware of this framework and it can coach you for free on that. So again, I'm making this distinction. There's a lot of free resources out there, but if you want help in getting this done, you'd book a meeting with me and my team. All right, so we are nearly at time. I want to thank you for having this discussion. I guess let's just go around the room, type in the chat. Um, did you get value from this discussion? Was this helpful? Was this helpful? Type in the chat. Who do we have here? Doug, Frank, and David. Hope this is helpful. I would say if you're here, I encourage you to make these changes, because otherwise you'll blame the sales team, you'll buy AI tools, and you'll hope they fix the message. You'll rebrand again, and it won't do anything. You'll burn time and budget fixing surface marketing problems that won't really move the needle. And you'll wonder why growth is just feeling stuck. So definitely, I'm encouraging you to make these changes. So thank you very much. Guys, if I don't hear from you, have a great holiday. Wishing you all the best. Big hearts. Big hearts, wishing you all the best in 2026. Keep on rocking in the free world. Thank you very much.